Hey guys, welcome back. Today we are finally back at my uncle's house and we are going to be planting up their entryway. If you guys recall, they had some random shrubs, a couple of, oh my gosh, they had some perennials in here, some astilbes, but nothing was flowing quite right. And my aunt wanted to change up this front and make it a little bit more formal, a little bit more welcoming, and a little bit more uniform. I believe the last time we were here is when we were buying some new containers to replace those blue ones that they brought up front. And we picked some up together. Oh gosh, I think it was like early springtime. In fact, let me show you those containers really quick before we jump into the front and come through the back here. It was those two right over there, right back there. We got those together at the garden center. I think we went to Farmington Gardens. We might have gone back actually. No, you guys didn't see those yet. So we got those two for this area of the pool. And these are the other two that we picked up together. So you guys saw those, but you didn't see the ones behind the pool. And I was just talking to my uncle and I said, there's so much we can do to this backyard. So whenever you're willing and wanting to, start digging in, let me know because I have big ideas for this space. So we started this project a couple of days ago. In fact, my uncle, my stepdad, and I think even my cousin jumped in and they helped remove everything that was here. Luckily, we had tree cutters on the street the other day, and so they were able to come in and get some of the bigger pieces. And I think originally we were going to keep the camellia that they had here in the front, but I sat back and I really thought about it, and I just thought, what is this garden missing? It's very green. I think we need to do something a little bit more different. So they removed the camellia that was here. There was also a huge, beautiful fern that was here, and my uncle cut it down and then he dug it up and he divided it into fours. And I think he took it to the lake house, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't ask him what he did with it yet. So anyways, we got all of this cleared up. They did the same thing to this side of the garden. There is a hellebore that was left, but I'm going to dig that up, and then I believe my uncle is going to take that to their lake house to plant over there. So when I was talking to my aunt and uncle and asking them what do they want out of this space, how do they want to utilize it, what do they want when they come in, and I think my aunt immediately thought, I want it a little bit more formal. I want clean lines. I want it very simple, but beautiful and elegant. So of course my head went straight to hydrangeas, which is what we're going to be planting here today. She also loves hydrangeas. It's like, I think after peonies, that might be her favorite flower. So I thought, okay, hydrangeas are going to be perfect for this space. And then we needed an evergreen element and then something that was deciduous. Originally, my uncle wanted 2 evergreens, but I was convincing him the other day that, when we were shopping, I was like, we just need something else. We need something else to balance both sides because there's so much green on one side of the house, including by the driveway, they have the arbs. And there's not enough red in your garden. So they have a lot of green, they have a little bit of blue, we need to get some yellow, but the evergreen that we picked up will turn yellow. The needles will turn yellow in the wintertime, so it will have 2 colors on them. And then we went with a maple for this side over here because they needed red. We have this beautiful gold coin Scots pine, and this one is hardy in zones 4 through 8. It gets 10 to 12 feet tall and then 4 to 8 feet wide on average. I think, look at the bumblebees. I'm sorry, honeybees. I think we'll probably keep these at around 6 feet wide. My uncle is going to start working with our arborist, Eduardo, so we'll just keep all of these really beautiful trees maintained and pruned up. I really love this tree because its needles are going to transition into more of a yellow tone, and then look at those cute little pine cones that it develops. And my uncle is a huge Christmas fanatic like I am. So when he saw this tree, he was like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to decorate it for Christmas time. And I thought, yep, that is my uncle. That is 100% my DNA right there. And then we went with a Emperor Japanese maple. These are one of my favorite trees. I think if you need a red element in your garden, this will be my first recommendation. I think it's so beautiful. The shape of it, the leaves of it. I love how it has the 5 lobes here. It's just such a stunning tree. It's easy to maintain. It's easy to train. And it just has a beautiful tiered look to it, which is perfect because this side of the garden will get some morning sun and it's going to be in the corner over there. So I think it's going to be super happy in that space. We actually have one in the front in our garden, and it gets full sun and it's doing fantastic. Its mature height and width is going to be 15 feet tall and wide, and they are hardy down to zone 5. And we garden in zone 8B, so they're going to do perfect in this space. And finally, we are going to be planting up these Limelight Prime. So this is an improved version of the Limelight hydrangeas. And these are so beautiful. And oh my gosh, we kept going back and forth on which ones we were gonna get. But we settled on this one. And these will get 4 to 6 feet tall and 4 to 5 feet wide. They can take sun to partial shade. And these are hardy in zones 3 through 8. Like I mentioned, these are the improved versions of the Limelights. These will have more of a upright growth. They're not going to be as floppy as the Limelights, the original ones are. They're still going to have those big, beautiful blooms, and they're going to have that color transition just like in the Limelights. So they'll start out a little bit more in the green color spectrum, and then they'll turn into that creamy white, and then into fall, they're actually starting to turn right now. They're going to turn that beautiful, rich raspberry color, which I think is probably my favorite time of these hydrangeas. So I already have everything that I need. Of course, we're going to do lots of good biotone. I have my auger. I have my favorite garden broom because this is what I like to use to spread mulch. And we actually got a ton of mulch, and it's actually compost. This is the stuff that we like to spread in our garden. So let me show that to you guys. This is garden compost, and we buy this at Best Buy Landscape in town. We actually did a whole video with them to kind of show you guys all of their great products. But this is a garden compost blend. So there's a lot of really great nutrients in here, and this holds its color for the longest time. It's so beautiful. I love it so much. So we got a couple of, I think 3 yards, 2 or 3 yards, I can't recall. So we were going to be using this to amend the beds along with the biotone. And then I want to come in and also just spread some of it in these areas over here. So like under the tree, around some shrubs, just to freshen things up. I have so many ideas for this garden. Like, can we just tear? I want to tear this out. I want to extend this bed. I want to replace this tree. This is a, I forget what variety of cherry blossom this is, but my uncle planted them both together at the same time. But this one looks like this, and that one looks beautiful and healthy. So I think he's also thinking about replacing this tree. But anyways, so many fun ideas for this space. I don't know if they want to do anything right now after this, because they just wrapped up a project with their lake house. So I think they just want to enjoy the rest of the summertime. But I do have some ideas. But anyways, with this compost, we're going to come around and just spread it throughout the garden as well. And the evergreen is going to go on this side because right behind this window is their little dining nook. And they just wanted to make sure that they have privacy here because they do keep their blinds open, and they just wanted to make sure that they have something to also provide a little bit of shade in the morning time. So evergreen's gonna go here. We're gonna do the hedge of the hydrangeas, maple on the other side. Let me get my tape measure, measure everything out, and then we will get digging. Oh my God, it's gonna be so beautiful. Yeah, so it's gonna be like 29. Yeah. Nossa Senhora, isso vai ser impossível hoje. This is impossible with Brazilians. Everybody's talking over one another. Look at them, they're still talking. Yep. Okay, listen. All right, guys, we got everything set in place and measured out. That probably takes the longest part. We have the auger here, so digging these holes is gonna go by really quick. We did need 2 more on this side, and I thought we had sourced enough for or from the same garden center, but they didn't have 2 extras. So I just went out and picked up these other 2. Now these are Limelights, they're just much bigger. These are in 7-gallon containers. So you can kind of see what you're going to be getting out of these. Look at how beautiful these are. I wish that they were the same size because it looks a little bit funny, but these will all catch up to these guys over here. Now these are a little bit further along. They're not putting on their creamy white color yet. They probably just came out of the greenhouse not that long ago. That's what I'm assuming is what's going on. And then these have already been out and growing. But anyways, let's get these all in the ground. I cannot wait to see how they look. All right, now the biotone is going in to each of the holes. Just measuring with my heart, like I always do. Cadê? Não, peraí, deixa eu ver.
Vazio.
Hey guys, All right, it's the next day. I'm back at my uncle's house. We worked really late last night. Not super late, but it got dark by the time we were done. We got a little bit distracted because my cousin came over and we ended up having like a pool party and barbecuing, and mom was here and my stepdad was here. And it was just such a fun family time. I feel like I really needed that. So it was worth just working into the evening, getting this done. And now we're here in the morning to show you guys how everything looks. I am so excited. My uncle is like smiling from ear to ear. He was like, why did we wait so long to do this? And I'm like, I know, you have this niece that is willing to do all of this work. Like, we just have to do it now. So now he's like, he's got the ball. Well, I think I got the ball rolling, and now they're both very excited to do other projects around the house. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that we get to do some more things in their garden. All right, here is this side of the garden. It looks so beautiful. I think that maple tree adds so much dimension to the space. Like, I don't know, I think when you think about a garden, you need to think about your primary colors in your garden, right? You have your red, your blues, your yellows, and your greens. And when you have that nailed down, things just start to flow really nicely. Even if you want to have a formal garden, I think incorporating those colors ties everything together and so nicely. So right here we have the two larger limelight primes. And again, these are just so massive. I kind of wish that we got them all at this size, but you know, you live and you learn. But just imagine when this tree gets to its full size, it is going to create a beautiful shape over here. And that red, especially in the springtime, is going to be so magnificent. So you just have to kind of envision the beauty that this tree is going to bring into this garden. We came in with the compost and just laid it all down, so it looks so beautiful. I actually took some evening shots that I'll pop up in just a sec here. But here's this side, and if I step back, look at how beautiful it looks. Now, obviously, it's going to look even better once these hydrangeas put on more size. Just think about the sea of clouds of flowers that is going to grow in this space. One thing we did talk about is getting rid of these two blue containers, just because they're so heavy and they're just massive that it kind of shrinks the entranceway a bit. So we were playing with the idea of putting them right here in the corners of the garden. So like one right here and the other one right there. However, if we do that, if I step back, what's going to happen is they're going to kind of disappear behind the hedge, and then eventually the hydrangea is going to grow. So that's not going to make sense either. The second option was to put them right here at the entry of their driveway. But my idea was, why don't we scrap those containers? We can maybe do smaller ones if they want to continue having containers in their entryway. And instead of putting anything up here, we remove these rocks, we remove some of the grass here, and then do a hedge of lavender. Wouldn't that be so spectacular? I need you guys to let me know down below if you think that's a good idea, because I want to convince them. So your word is going to help me convince them to do this. The other thing that I want to do is remove this shrub here, just because it's so out of place. It doesn't make any sense. I'm so sorry. You might hear the blower in the background. My uncle is getting ready to host a little pool party for my cousin's little ones. So anyways, I'm thinking of removing this shrub here, kind of. Well, there's two options: either put on grass, because they don't want a lot of plants to maintain. However, I think if we just did a swoop over here and created a bed, we could do a small little evergreen and some perennials and some annuals. I think that would just bring so much light and color into the garden. Of course, that means we might need to consider doing something on this side of the entrance as well. We definitely want to replace this cherry blossom, so we're going to see if we can identify which variety this is. My uncle said that he bought it back in 2017, I think, so it's going to be hard to try to find what variety it is, but he does have a lot of pictures of the flowers, so I think that will help us identify the variety, so we can try to source a big one to replace this one here. And then I think this one he'll probably just dig up and try to take to the lake house or something. I feel like the lake house is becoming like a catch-all for some of our plants, but it's going to be beautiful too. So that's going to be the plan for that tree. Now, of course, if I'm looking at the garden this way, I just get so many ideas. I would love to come in, remove more of the grass, create more garden beds, do more evergreens, lower evergreens down there, do perennials. We can do some peonies. I mean, there's just so many ideas that are flowing through my mind right now with this garden. I don't know if they want to commit to that because again, it's going to be more maintenance and they kind of like the simplicity of the entryway, but again, keeping it elegant. But I just, I don't know. To me, it's like, let's take out more grass and add more flowers. That's always my goal. We're not going to change up too much over here on this side. He does want to come in and just mulch up the side. That way everything just looks a little bit fresher and a little bit nicer. So I think he's going to be doing that sometime this week. Now this space is quite a bit open over here, and we were kind of playing with the idea of moving the tree closer to the middle of the window. I was thinking more this way, just to cover some of the utility stuff here, but it is going to start branching out and growing out. So I think it's going to cover this area really nicely. And then what I'm thinking next year is we come in with some perennials. So we can come in with some beautiful purple perennials. I already have a bulb order that I've started for them. So you can bet that I'm coming back here in the fall time and planting this whole area up with some beautiful bulbs. Because if you think about it, the hydrangeas won't really come on until mid to late spring is really when they kind of start showing their blooms a little bit. So I want to make sure that they have something in the meantime during that transition period. And now the other thing we want to do over here on this side is my uncle is going to create a little retaining wall right over here. He wants to build a little retaining wall. We'll bring up the soil level a little bit higher. He does want to replace the gate here on this side. So there's two entrances to the backyard. And then what I'm thinking is doing flagstone pavers right here. I think that is going to make this space right here just a lot more cleaner and a little bit more welcoming than just having this as your landing into the backyard. The other project that we are working on right now with them is finding somebody to come in and put down stone in their entryway. I don't want to do flagstone because this house has more of a formal feel to it. So I think a beautiful blue stone, but with like clean edges. And we want to carry that out throughout the whole entrance here into the doorway, down these steps, down this path. And then we'll have to decide if we want to carry it all the way to the driveway and all the way out to the front of their house. Here is the view from this side. We still need to come in and remove some of those tags. I just forgot that I missed them last night. But last night, oh my gosh, you guys, the sun was setting and the light was just hitting the maple and it looked absolutely beautiful. It was glowing. My uncle like just sat out here for the longest time, just admiring this maple here. So I feel like he's on the maple bus right now, which I'm very excited about. And I want to foster that love for maples and get more of them into his garden. The goal for this garden was to bring in beautiful plants, keep clean lines, and bring in some elegance. And I think we accomplished that. I think hydrangeas have such a big weight to them, especially because there's this hedge here of the boxwoods. That combination is just so classic. It's so beautiful. It's like timeless, right? It's just one of those things that will never get old in the garden. Whenever you have a hedge of hydrangeas or boxwoods or like lavender, the other idea I had for this entryway was doing like boxwood spheres, but I think the lavender would look better. But anyways, just having those like combination of simple plants, but repeating them makes such a big impact in the garden, especially if you want to keep things kind of minimal, but beautiful and impactful. Anyways, I am so pleased at how everything turned out. Seeing the smile on my uncle's face and my aunt being so excited about this new garden space for them, just, it makes it all like worthwhile, and it was also worth it for me. I am so excited to see how these hydrangeas grow. We'll definitely keep you guys posted on how they do over time. I'm also just very excited to see what other projects they want to do in their garden, because I am ready to just jump in and do some beautiful things in their space. So anyways, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today in my uncle's garden. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video and seeing this garden transformation, and I will see you guys in our next video. Bye-bye.